Hello and welcome to an Archeosoup YouTube channel update video. Now this is something which I haven't done in a little while, and it's actually something which I wasn't fully aware was necessary, but that's because I've been a little bit like a frog. You know the old sort of scientific adage, if you put a frog in water and slowly turn up the heat, it will boil to death, whereas if you put a frog, or attempt to put a frog into boiling water from the get-go, it'll bounce off and be perfectly safe. That's kind of what it's been like technologically for me over the past couple of months. It's worthwhile explaining, so I'll be as brief as I can. You may recall, late last year, the laptop broke. For a long time now, Archeosoup has technically always been edited on a laptop. And the hard drive late last year just decided to implode. And this is a life lesson, folks. Never ever move laptops when they're on, because damage accumulates over time. I won't go into it, but it's to do with the movement of the parts in the hard drive and the fact that you're using essentially a magnet like a record player. It will destroy your hard drive. So if you ever want to pass a laptop to someone, turn it off, hand it over, turn it back on again. Don't even put it into sleep mode. Just trust me, do that. It's not worth the hassle. So eventually we had the hard drive replaced in that, but it really highlighted a huge weakness. When it is broken, I can do nothing. Archeosoup can do nothing, or certainly from my part, Archeosoup can do nothing. So I really wanted to dive in and take advantage of the January sales and money coming in at just the right time to get a PC. And we did. We got a Lenovo H50, I think it's called, and also a lovely X-Display giant monitor, which makes editing such a joy, or was meant to, at least, make editing such a joy. And it came with its own bespoke graphics card, which I'll come to in a moment, a NVIDIA GeForce 720. And I was like, yes, this is going to be heaven on earth. I'll be able to make commissioned content quicker. So, when people are paying me for videos or films, I'll be able to make YouTube videos quicker. This is going to be brilliant. And slowly but surely it wasn't. Something was wrong, and I should have really known from day one when the computer didn't quite know where it was. I turned it on, and Windows 10, in fact, I think since for a while now, Windows tries to identify where it is using IP and a version, essentially, of GPS. Obviously not inbuilt, but whatever, triangulation to figure out where on earth it is. So it sort of goes, it was saying, am I in Prussia? Am I in Czechoslovakia? What? I was, no, you're not. You're in the UK. And then it even got the minutes on the time wrong. You know how every time zone on this planet has the same minutes. So at the moment, if it's 10 to 10 in the morning in the UK, in Sweden with Liv, it's 10 to 11. But it's always 10 to something. It's 10 to 10 to 9 at night where Reese is in Australia. It was getting that wrong, and I should really, alarm bells should have gone off, but they didn't, because I was just eager to get the machine working. I was so excited. And then bit by bit problems accumulated, and it became harder to use the editing software. It would crash quite literally every 2 seconds. I'm not kidding. I would spend hours, because the time just flies by when you're fixated on trying to solve a problem, hours with the program just turning on and then count to 10 or count to 3, off. It just crashes. And up comes a little box going, would you like to report this problem to Cyberlink, the company behind PowerDirector 13? And it got to the point where I was just sort of saying, crashed again, send, and then 2 seconds later, and again, send. So this problem was accumulating, and it got to the point where a couple of weeks ago, even native apps on the computer weren't working. So, for example, the calculator, the inbuilt calculator, a basic function, probably the most basic function on a computer, it wasn't working. It was greyed out. I tried to open it, it couldn't open. So it was clear I had to do a full system restore, which is a laborious process. And not only do you have to try and save your files onto an external hard drive, essentially wipe the computer and start again, bring everything back on again, then set up the computer as you'd like it. And I like my computer to be a certain way because it helps with the process of making videos, especially videos. Access from the start menu to the media output folder or to the SD card, this kind of thing. So that took a few days to get fixed, and finally it was fixed, and now it's working fine. but I've spent most of 2016 with a computer that was actively preventing me from making basic content. And so the stuff that I was producing, usually to a deadline. So, for example, the stuff for the Young Archaeologists Club, the flint, the stone tool knappings, or the pottery video. That was horrible, a horrible time to make it, but I had to get it done. So I just plough through these constant crashes, and it was exhausting. And so at the moment, for example, I'm sitting on footage from an interview with Carenza Lewis, formerly of Time Team, and that's 36 minutes, folks. 36 minutes of footage when your computer breaks and crashes every 2 seconds. So obviously I just haven't been able to. It's been a joyless experience, let's put it that way. And I don't quite know how I got there. This is what I mean by the frog, that slow boil. Or the slowly turning up the heat. Or, when you see people in like an abusive relationship, you're like, how are you in this situation? It's because you just don't notice, and before you know it, you are dealing with essentially a broken machine. But because it's just been incremental, you just think, well, this is just how it is. Clearly it must be Cyberlink's problem, the people behind the editor. And actually, incidentally, folks, here's a free tip for you. If you happen to have a PowerDirector and you happen to be getting a graphics card, which actually this was my first bespoke graphics card. As I say, this should have made things so much easier when it comes to editing. NVIDIA and Cyberlink don't get on. In particular, the NVIDIA GeForce Experience program. So delete that program. Have everything else. Have the drivers. Have the associated management software for the graphics card. Just get rid of the GeForce Experience, and Cyberlink PowerDirector will run like a dream. And it does. It runs beautifully now. I'm editing footage on the preview screen with high resolution, which I certainly couldn't do on the laptop, and which I certainly couldn't do before all these problems were fixed. And it's so much nicer now, so much more fun. And that's the key. That's the key word, is fun. You remember back in January, I sort of said to myself, this is going to be a year of fun. Yeah, I'm going to make videos that I've always wanted to make. I'm going to bring them to you guys. We're going to have a fun year. Well, for the first quarter, I guess. This has been the first quarter of the year. It's just been incrementally hellish getting videos made. So now it's not. Now, hopefully, we can get back to that idea of this being fun. Excuse me. And now that I've just come out of a few days of, first of all, having a slight concussion, having walked into a glass door, and then having a fairly bad head cold, head and chest cold. Hopefully now I can just get back to that being fun. So Carenza Lewis will be coming your way soon. Liv and I plan on doing our some thoughts and impressions to do with Far Cry Primal soon, and also then I'll be getting stuck into the In Focus videos I want to do, Questions of Doom, the stuff which is fun, but not fun when you're having to face a computer that's fighting you. Man, how did I get there? And the answer is because I was a frog. I was a frog in slowly, incrementally increasing temperature water. So that's the update. The update is now I have a computer which works. Yeah. it should be a basic entry requirement for anyone who does editing frequently to have a computer which works. But not always, folks. Not always. Excuse me. Now, just ginger beer, folks. It's good if your stomach feels a bit bad. Speaking of which, actually, in the background, as soon as the computer was working again a couple of days ago, I did an editing marathon. I did a whole day of editing the footage from, do you remember Sheffield? I did a little video from In the Field at Sheffield. That's the 7 short videos about how to use the Homefront Legacy recording app should be being made public soon-ish. But I did a whole day of just powering through that, just getting it done, and the program didn't crash once. So finally, the rest of the Archeosoup team, what's going on with them? I suppose it's worthwhile mentioning that in an update. Basically, everyone is wanting to do videos, and they've all got plans and ideas percolating around, but they have been variously busy with uni work. So, for example, Bethany has lots of essays and things on, but she has a really good in focus video in mind. Busy with uni work. So Reese, for example, is doing his honours, but also has some ideas as well floating around. Actually, some ideas for some interesting stuff on the ground as well, actually, in Australia, which could be cool. Liv has been busy and a bit ill, but she has a good idea for a video. Jeanette has some wonderful ideas, but also wants to revisit the form and function of humanthropology in the near future, so we're going to be having a conversation about that behind the scenes. Aaron, still snowed under with his dissertation, but should be coming back online in a few weeks' time, and then other people who are sort of floating in the background are also interested in doing stuff, but again, it all just comes down to time and busyness. So there is all this stuff which is going on, and hopefully in the coming weeks and months it'll all just become more frequent, more natural, more good, muy bueno. It should just be better, especially now that I have a working, functioning, a PC that works, that turns on and works. It does things. How amazing is that? Honestly, I don't know how I got to the point, given that I'm fairly tech savvy, how I got to the point of living with a PC that was so broken. But yeah, it happens. So next time you see someone who is in just this atrocious personal place, maybe they've got a kitchen that just you're like, how are you living with the kettle plugged into the wall that's got grease and mold all over it? Talk to your landlord. Encourage them out of that scenario, because you just don't notice this stuff creeps up on you. But there you go. Sorry, the definition of an update video there for you, all done and dusted. You have been updated, and hopefully from here on things should just get a bit more fun and smooth and easy and cool. Yeah, there you go. Updated. You are updated. Consider yourselves updated. Anyway, hopefully you have had or are having a wonderful Easter-ish time. I know lots of people are on holiday this week, certainly in the UK for the Easter holidays or spring break or whatever. And whatever you get up to, do take care. As ever, until next time, bye-bye.